You're listening to Whispers of a Witch. The Ghosts by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. There was no wind, and yet the air seemed suddenly astir. There were no forms, and yet all space seemed thronged with growing hosts. They came from where and from nowhere, like phantoms as they were. They came from many a land and place, the ghosts, the ghosts, the ghosts. And some were white, and some were gray, and some were red as blood, those ghosts of men who met their death upon the field of war. Against the skies of fading day, like banks of clouds they stood, and each wraith asked another wraith, what were we fighting for? One said, I was my mother's all, and she was old and blind. Another, back on earth my wife and weak old baby lie. Another, at the bugle's call I left my bride behind. Love made so beautiful my life, I could not bear to die. In voices like the winds that moan among pine trees at night, they whispered long, the newly dead, while listening stars came out. We wonder if the cause is known, and if the war was right that killed us in our prime, they said, and what it was about. They came in throngs that filled all space, those whispering phantom hosts. They came from many a land and place, the ghosts, the ghosts, the ghosts. Whispers of a Witch. The Banshee by Dora Sigerson. Now God between us and all harm, for I tonight have seen a banshee in the shadow pass along the dark boreen. And as she went, she keened and cried and combed her long white hair. She stopped at Molly Riley's door and sobbed till midnight there. And is it for himself she moans, who is so far away? Or is it Molly Riley's death she cries until the day? Now Molly thinks her man is gone, a sailor lad to be. She puts a candle at her door each night for him to see. But he is off to Galway town, and who dare tell her this, enchanted by a woman's eyes, half maddened by her kiss. So as we go by Molly's door, we look towards the sea and say, may God bring home your lad, wherever he may be. I pray it may be Molly's self, the banshee keens and cries. For who dare breathe the tale to her, be it her man who dies? But there is sorrow on the way, for I tonight have seen a banshee in the shadow pass along the dark boreen. Whispers of a Witch. The Ghost's Moonshine by Thomas Lovell Beddoes. It is midnight, my wedded. Let us lie under the tempest bright undreaded. In the warm thunder, tremble and weep not. What can you fear? My heart's best wish is thine, that thou wert white and bedded on the softest bier in the ghost's moonshine. Is that the wind? No, no. Only two devils that blow through the murderer's ribs to and fro in the ghost's moonshine. Who is there, she said afraid, yet stirring and awakening the poor old dead. His spade is only making, tremble and weep not. What do you crave? Where yonder grasses twine a pleasant bed, my maid, that children call a grave in the cold moonshine. Is that the wind? No, no, only two devils that blow through the murderer's ribs to and fro in the ghost's moonshine. What dost thou strain above her lovely throat's whiteness? A silken chain to cover her bosom's brightness? Tremble and weep not. What do you fear? My blood is spilt like wine. Thou hast strangled and slain me, lover. Thou hast stabbed me, dear, the ghost's moonshine. Is that the wind? No, no. Only her goblin doth blow through the murderer's ribs to and fro in its own moonshine. Whispers of a Witch. Two Ghosts Converse by Emily Dickinson. I died for beauty, but was scarce adjusted in the tomb, when one who died for truth was lain in an adjoining room. He questioned softly why I failed. For beauty, I replied, and I for truth. The two are one, we brethren are, he said. And so as kinsmen met at night, we talked between the rooms until the moss had reached our lips and covered up our names. Whispers of a Witch. The Phantom Wooer by Thomas Lovell Beddoes. A ghost that loved a lady fair, ever in the starry air of midnight at her pillow stood, and with the sweetness skies above, the luring words of human love. Her soul the phantom wooed, sweet and sweet is their poison note, the little snakes of silver throat and mossy skulls that nest and lie, ever singing, die, oh die. Young soul, put off your flesh, and come with me into the quiet tomb. Our bed is lovely, dark and sweet. The earth will swing us as she goes, beneath our coverlet of snows in the warm leaden sheet. Dear and dear is their poison note, the little snakes of silver throat and mossy skulls that nest and lie, ever singing, die, oh die. Whispers of a Witch. The Haunted Palace by Edgar Allan Poe. In the greenest of our valleys, by good angels tenanted, once a fair and stately palace, radiant palace, reared its head. In the monarch thought's dominion it stood there. Never seraph spread a pinion over fabric half so fair. Banners yellow, glorious golden, on its roof did float and flow. This, all this, was in the olden time, long ago. And every gentle air that dallied in that sweet day, along the ramparts plumed and pallid, a winged odor went away. Wanderers in that happy valley, through two luminous windows, saw spirits moving musically to a lute's well-tuned law. Round about a throne were sitting poor Phrygian, in state his glory well befitting. The ruler of the realm was seen, and all with pearl and ruby glowing was the fair palace door, through which came flowing and sparkling evermore, a troop of echoes, whose sweet duty was but to sing, in voices of surpassing beauty, the wit and wisdom of their king. But evil things, in robes of sorrow, assailed the monarch's high estate. Ah, let us mourn, for never morrow shall dawn upon him desolate. And round about his home the glory that blushed and bloomed is but a dim remembered story of the old time entombed. And travelers now within that valley, through the red-litten windows, see vast forms that move fantastically to a discordant melody. While like a ghastly, rapid river, through the pale door a hideous throng rush out forever, and laugh, but smile no more. These poems and stories were narrated by Jennifer Ann Scott. Please visit witchvoice.com, and if you'd like to support this podcast and gain access to additional recordings, including a patron-only podcast, please visit patreon.com/whispers of a witch. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook at The Witch Voice. Until next time, stay wicked.